Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Sentient Dessert. Welcome to my channel. We are going to be doing some Jiggly Jigsaws very shortly. It's going to be fun. There was an update for the program today, and there was a puzzle that I just had to do because it looked amazing. So we're going to get right into that. Let's start some music up. Hope you enjoy it. And let's just get into this. Been a rather interesting day. Now that it's not the weekend anymore, I reported the animal that appears to be living inside the apartment, between the apartments in my ceiling. So that's something. I've been hearing it scratching up there, and I started hearing it gnaw up there this past weekend. So what we did was report it today. I don't expect them to come out and inspect anything until, next week, because that seems to be the way of things when it comes to maintenance. But yeah, I grew up in a house with pet rats, and I had pet gerbils myself, so I know what it sounds like to have an animal gnawing. In fact, I stopped. So when I was really young, I had a pet mouse. It was my favorite pet. And as I got older, eventually I got into having another pet, and had a collection of gerbils. Now, one of the big differences between gerbils and mice is that gerbils will chew. Gerbils really love to chew. They have like a pathological desire to chew. So I had a lot of fun making, like a maze for the mouse using old clothes boxes. Like what you would get from a department store. The box that they put clothes in, left over from Christmas. So, yeah, I made those for my mouse, and my mouse would run through them, and it was fun. Hide a treat at the end of the maze, and mouse makes it through, gets the treat. So, tried that with the gerbils. Guess what they did? They just sat at the entrance chewing on stuff. They destroyed everything that I made. So yeah, that was me learning that gerbils are not like mice. They're rodents, but they are a different type of rodent in what they want and what they do. I don't know, this song kind of reminds me a bit of Sonic the Hedgehog. Similar, not exactly like Casino Night Zone. You know what? I think I will... Yeah. After this week, I am going to get my Sonic games up and running and see if I can get them going. Because that would be a fun stream. It's been a long time since I've played Sonic. Always wanted to play Sonic and Knuckles. Never had it. It was the one that you could, like, flip the top of the cartridge open and plug in one of the other Sonic games and play as Knuckles in that game. was a novelty. It was something really fun. Right, we have ourselves. You are probably going to go right there. 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 I also discovered last night, so back in the 80s there was a TV program called Spitting Image. It was a satirical, like highly satirical, mock comedy of politics and the like, and they've resurrected it. They brought the show back, and it's like a really good political season to do that. They are... Nothing is sacred, pretty much, or rather, no one is free from being mocked on the show. They took a lot of the, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Notable people from the last few years and have made them into characters. And Chris Berry did a lot of voices for the original series. You may not know his name, that's alright. He plays Rimmer on Red Dwarf. If you haven't seen Red Dwarf, that's something you should rectify soon. Anyways, he would do a lot of the voices. He was the voice of Reagan. Gives you an idea of the time that this happened. So, the new series, really good choices for new cast. The big ones that I see are people returning from Futurama. John DiMaggio, who was Bender. You had Billy West, who was Fry and the Professor, and lots of others. And Phil LaMarr. And Phil LaMarr he's a genius voice actor. He really is one of the best voice actors of this era. So yeah, they are some of the voices. If you don't like either party in the US, they go after both parties. It is not one-sided. If you don't like either party in the UK, they go after... I shouldn't say either party. If you don't like any of the parties in the UK, they will go after and relentlessly mock them. They've also done Australia, Germany. It's fun, and it is funny. I mean, very few of the things come across mean-spirited, which is very difficult when you're doing political satire on people that are, like, arguably some of the worst people around. So definitely go and give that a chance. Go and give that a look at. It's fun. The new season, the new series is on YouTube. It's got 6 episodes, 1 episode in 2 halves, but it is so worth it. Oh, I missed a single piece. That's fine though. Alright, let's start working on the sky. I don't want to reveal it. Well, I didn't want to. Yeah. There's going to be sky here as well. But we shall find spots for the sky. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, let's just edit that. Map sensitivity, let's take that down to 50% so that it's a little harder. Hey. Oh yes, I haven't watched all of it yet because I just discovered that it finally released last night, and they've got all the episodes up for this series. I say series because that's how they do things in the UK. Not a season, series. I think I'm going to go with the things that have the blue lines on it. Sky. But it's nice to see, you know, valid criticisms and and things that, you know, they might seem stupid, mocked. Just completely and utterly mocked. And you don't necessarily have to know British politics. It does help for some of the comedy in some of the things, but as I said, here in the US, yeah, they go after Biden, they go after Trump, they go after, the two idiots that are rich, that are trying to do a new space race that's not for the benefit of mankind, but for the benefit of them. What are their names? Musk and Bezos. Yes, they do a very good job with that. And it's a puppet show. You've seen caricatures, like the drawings of like political people. They basically take the caricature and turn it into a puppet. If you want a quick glance at something that is the style, the people that did the original series also did the music video for Land of Confusion by Genesis. So go check out that video if you just want something that's not like current politics, just to get an idea of what things look like. I mean, it's a great video nonetheless. Great song too. Kind of funny how a lot of the bands that, you know, you're told growing up, oh no, this band sucks, and you just believe these idiots. I will say that I am not a fan of said band, but there are only like a handful that I will say, yeah, they do genuinely suck and they should stop making music. Not gonna say who those are because there's a very militant fan base behind a lot of them. But I have tried to listen to these bands, and it's... I mean... it's like the people that are playing hate what they're doing. I mean, if you've ever seen somebody actually like hate their job, that's what it sounds like with a lot of these bands that I feel are not that good. Right. Ooh. Like you right there. Good. What else we got going over here? Or we have more. Wonderful. Wonderful. But yeah, there are also bands that, I I've wanted to listen to more music and ask people, hey, send me music. They send it to me and I don't listen to it for weeks. I don't exactly know my reasoning behind that. It just could be a small hang up in my head. But, oh, that is in place. Okay. Like, one band that my dad really liked was, The Who. And I had never listened to The Who. And I kind of got introduced to them via soundcheck in one of my productions. The person that did the sound, he used Pinball Wizard as his soundcheck. So every day before the show, guess what song would be played on the speakers? Fade between them, and then it would stop halfway through the song. It was really good. So then I got it in my head, I know, I'll go listen to one of their albums. I chose Quadrophenia. Now if you know The Who, then you know that that was an experience for me. That was just amazing. If you don't know The Who, and you do enjoy classic rock, rock and roll, that kind of stuff, go and listen to it. The album is a double album, if I recall, and it's just amazing. I can't really think of a better word to describe it. I'm getting chills just remembering the music. Alright, let's try to focus on the blue now. I think we mostly have the others in place. No one's in chat, that's fine. I think as I become more accustomed to going live daily with something more than just jigsaw puzzle or mocking a game, that'll change. And if I start doing some classic stuff, that might be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I was considering doing the Mega Man games. Mega Man 3. Mega Man 3 was like one of the first presents that I ever actually wanted that I got. In fact, I think it was the first thing that I ever asked for and received as a birthday present. So, yeah. I should do that. Because Mega Man, the Mega Man games, the old ones, were extremely hard because you jumped in the air, you committed to the jump. There was no turning back mid-air. The boss fights were... a lot of it is just being able to do the rote mechanics of the fights. And if you watch me doing Hollow Knight, I take a while to adjust. not a bad thing, it's just I am definitely not the greatest gamer in the world. I mean, I can do tactics like nobody's business. I mean, I have a mind, I don't know how to put it. I understand strategy and tactics. If variables can be accounted for, then yes, everything happens. If problems that tend to arise are the ones that when there are variables that are way outside of your control. And I'm talking about video games, not talking about the other things that involve tactics and strategy. So that's kind of where we are with that. I completely forgot what I was talking about. I'm sorry. Yes, I am not the world's best gamer. One of the reasons that I don't do stuff like, well, aside from the fact that, you know, the games are kind of geared against players that don't want to use, you know, like 12-button mice. Like arena games, stuff like that. I just don't find them fun because they rely too heavily on gimmick type stuff. I mean, I kind of wish that I could process the stuff a lot faster, a lot easier, but I just don't. Like League of Legends, I play that very, very occasionally. And I play a character in class, or I play a character that people do not like me playing the way that I do. I am an attack Sona. Hey PK. I like to play with Sona as an offensive character, not a healer in the background, because if, you know, with the right gear, she can take out a tank in about 4 or 5 seconds. Granted, that's with the right conditions. But, yeah, I know this because I've done it. What are you up to, PK? You might be happy to learn that I did turn off, or not turn off, but turn down the snap to grid for this thing. Not as aggressive. It'll make the puzzles a little bit harder. I think he just popped in and then left. Oh well. Not an issue. People are allowed to do that. But yeah, playing League of Legends, I prefer Sona. I prefer to play her as an offensive character because she's just... Yeah, she heals, but she's a powerhouse. I mean, as I said, you can take out, you know, someone like Cho'Gath or gosh, it's been so long I can't remember many of the tanks. Master Yi can take him down. Basically, you open up with the stun, have the 3 stacks of whatever the hell it's called, let loose, cycle through all 3 of her songs, and then release another one, and you got the right equipment on, you'll take away 2,000 to 3,000 life very quickly. But it's not a build that people like because they want to be the ones to be the ADC, get the money from the kills. But getting back to the other topic, I think that Mega Man, I think I got the first 6 games, first four or 6 games in a bundle a while back, and I'm gonna be doing those guys because they're fun, and Sonic definitely. Different style of game. And I could go for a legitimate speed run, try to get through the game as fast as possible, and not pretend that I got through the game by, you know, glitching the game out. Yeah, I take issue with those videos. Just because you have the ending playing does not mean that you speedran the game. But hey, some people enjoy doing that, so let them. I just don't think it's a speed run. Hollow Knight, definitely. I should start writing these down. So that next time I'm like, what do I want to do? I can just look at the list and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh. Right. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. So yeah, Mega Man 3. Mega Man 3 was... So I liked to create stuff when I was a kid, and when I got Mega Man 3 and I played it, and oh, it was such a wonderful experience. I mean, many times people don't remember like events in video games that have happened to them. It's like not something that registers. Video games have always been a big part of my life, and beating the first boss that I ever beat in that game was just exhilarating, and it's like little kid getting up and doing a dance. Yay, yay, I beat this guy, I beat this guy. And then like, okay, now, who does his weapon work on? I had the Nintendo Power. I still have the Nintendo Power for that, it's on the shelf behind me, for that game. That's actually the reason that I wanted the game, was because I'd read about it quite a bit, really liked it, and it seemed more my speed than, you know, the Gremlins games that were in it. So, I looked up who his weapon works on, continued to progress. Incidentally, his weapon works on Gemini Man. Gemini Man's gimmick was that he would split in half. Well, he'd split into two, and you'd had to fight them both. And his laser would bounce around the walls. Let's see, Gemini worked on Needleman. Needleman, I don't know what to describe what he would be. He was just like a boiler with 3 needles on top of his head. You can probably look up pictures for these characters. But then Needleman's ability worked on Snake Man. And then you had to, you know, work with the other 5 as a separate group, but still just having the weapons, some of them did more damage against those enemies than, and it was a gradual, just playing and getting better. Getting them out. Now, one of the other things that comes up with that game is that it had a grid code system. So if you died, you could enter in a code and restart in the same section with 2 lives and whatever energy tanks you had remaining in the previous game. So if you had like 7 saved up, you would not be penalized and lose all of those. You'd just be able to start over and progress. The codes were very they were very formulaic, and they were always the same for various things. And my brother and I got it into our heads to try to crack the code. So we tried to crack the code, and we discovered that each section on the thing would either give us, it would give us 0 to 9 energy tanks if we just filled in 1. Didn't matter red or blue. It was a 6x6 grid. No, 6x4 grid times 2. It was a grid, and you could put red or blue dots in there, and that would get you to the level that you wanted to go to. So we learned, and we eventually cracked the codes of what things were what, and when we started on the, oh, what do they call them? Dock robots. That's what they were, the dock robots. Which were the robots that were from Mega Man 2 that were basically loaded into a dummy core and fought against you. So you're playing Mega Man 3, but you're playing against like Metal Man, Flash Man, I think? Woodman. You don't get their powers because they are not the originals. So that was kind of frustrating. So we broke the code and we were able to figure out how to make things work the way we wanted them to work. We don't want to fight this boss anymore. So just, okay, we've got all the others done, so which one do we get rid of and which one do we turn red on the code screen? I mean, eventually did clear everything. I was able to do speed runs back then, like the whole game, maybe 90 minutes. It's been a while. I have no, have nothing to run it against as to what's an appropriate time limit for that. Now, Mega Man 4 was a different subject. That was a hard one for different reasons, but the original Mega Man and Mega Man 2 were the ones that I always wanted to play, and they were nightmarishly hard, at least for me back then. Even for me when I tried it a few weeks back, just giving it an old shot. So. No, I could also play the game that kind of was a big influence on me, because it is in one of the Sega collections that I got. I'm a big role-playing game fan, and there's one game that I absolutely loved. It's one that has gained cult status over the years. Shining Force 2. Now, the original Shining Force I eventually tracked down and got a copy of it. And it's a fun game in its own right. It's just a lot. The level up system in Shining Force 2, you're guaranteed stats. Like, even if it's just one stat, unless you are playing a specific character like the turtle. The turtle only gains like 1 hit point per level until you upgrade him. And then he becomes a giant monster, and he starts gaining like 2 to 3 hit points every time he levels up. Now, yeah, the difference was the first one, I mean, your character could get like 17 hit points in a single level up, and then no other skills for like 2 or 3 levels. It was very, it didn't feel like there was any rhyme or reason to the leveling up system. I don't know if that's been fixed in later releases of it. Because that game is also part of the collection I have. I could test that out as well. The first one, oh, that was a difficult game. Getting to the end and actually killing the boss was a multi-staged, you know the old adage of "this is not my final form"? Yeah. Think that, but with a turn-based, like Final Fantasy Tactics style combat. Way before Final Fantasy Tactics. I would not be surprised if this game influenced that. I don't know which one was the first turn-based tactics game. Possible it was one of the, oh, what are they called? Fire Emblem games. But I don't know when those came out either. Feels like it should go there, and it does. That, nope. Thought it would go there. Oh, it'll go there. Wonderful. But Shining Force 2 had a significant influence on me. I have always developed games, like concepts, ideas, stories, worlds, loot systems, weaponry systems, that kind of stuff. I fell out of doing it when I got older, but I still dabble a bit. One of the reasons that I'm trying to get this script finished is so that I can focus on trying to develop an actual game. Got a great idea that I'm not telling many people about. I mean, I'll tell them that I've got the idea, I'm just not going to say anything about it. And the more things that I'm learning, harder and the easier it will become. But influences that I got from that were the concept of upgrading your character. Like, they reach a certain point of development and then they can change their class. It was the first time I'd seen anything like that, and I really liked the concept. It also had the we're also able to do a separate upgrade for certain classes. You get a certain item and you would turn this priest into a monk, and then they would be more of a DPS healer versus just a straight healer. There's a guy that character's name was Kazin. Kazin. Going to be using Japanese pronunciations. Who was a sorcerer or wizard, and you'd upgrade to sorcerer or archwizard or something like that. But yeah, I'd upgrade him to be the sorcerer because the sorcerer summoned creatures, do damage, and it was like 3 or 4 times more powerful than normal magic, his best magic otherwise. Because you would also get multiple characters of the same base class who would only get 1 upgrade item. They'd have to choose, who do I want to use this on? And then not upgrade them until they were ready. I also discovered a wonderful way of leveling any class up to the highest potential. Took a lot of time. Like, a lot more time than I probably should have been spending on it. But, in one fight, there is a piece of gear that you would get. It was the Protect Ring. The Protect Ring had the ability to cast Protect on the party when used in combat. Now, Protect, when cast, or anybody that does not have Protect cast upon them, you would gain 5 experience points per character hit. It only took 100 experience points to level. You can probably see that would lead to leveling faster than other games, but you really don't. By the end of the game, you've maybe gone up 50 levels. And that's if you are actually like sitting there trying to grind out levels for characters. And there is a cast of characters. There is a large number of characters. You can field 12 people at a time. Sometimes that gets limited because of the map you're on. But most of the later maps you can field 12 people. I've probably talked about this game before. Has a very familiar ring to it. So, the way the game was designed, the way the game was played, had a increased expectation of what games could be. And that's what has always stuck with me. I liked the idea of playing a character that was not, solely going to stay this character, and that they could become something better. And when I later played, oh, was it Vandal Hearts? I think it was Vandal Hearts. Yeah, because Vagrant Story was the Square game that I never got around to playing because it was stolen. Well, all my PlayStation 1 games were stolen. But that's a story for another time. But the difference that I found in Vandal Hearts that was fun was you had the option of choosing 2 paths. And after you upgraded once, you had another 2 paths to follow. And you could design your team based upon your playstyle by having them upgrade down different paths, which I kind of like. And then you have the Final Fantasy Tactics path, where you can level everything. And I think that's one thing that draws me considerably to Final Fantasy 11 and 14 is that ability to have one character be everything. So, well, that didn't work. I inputted that command before, and it didn't pop up. Let me see if I can fix that right now. Yeah, that command should be working. That is not fun. Let's... Oh. Let me... I know why. I know why it wasn't working for you. Let me mess with... That's why. Let's edit you. There we go. Alright, try again. I just want to make sure that it's working. There we go. Okay. Permissions were set funky. So, hope you had a good night, PK. This has been my stream. And if I knew how to raid, I would raid somebody. Let's see. Do I just click on somebody and it automatically takes me and everybody with me to them? Yeah, it's been a fun night. Okay, so you have to actually type out the command. At least that's what it looks like. I will read up more. But, let me get my endings in. Like, subscribe, or comment, only if you want to. I'm not going to hold it against you if you don't. Be kind out there. Have a good solar cycle. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Please be safe. Go and bloody vote if you can. I will see you all tomorrow for more fun, and I'm going to attempt to do my first raid right now. So, let's try it. Have a good night, everybody.